Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast, and I'm just checking in on you. Woo! I'm in New York City. It is raining cats and dogs, which is something I'm not used to. I haven't been in a long time just to have a nice rain like this for the hell of it. You know, you forget after a while. You live out in Los Angeles. You live in a desert. You know, it like rains. Hopefully it rains when you're out there, and it rains for like a month, rains like crazy, and then it never rains in California. Remember that song? But boy, don't they warn you, it pours, man, it pours. And I never understood like what it meant. I didn't understand any of that. I remember asking my mother, going, "It never rains in California." What it really is it's in the desert. It doesn't rain. It rains like once a month. So if you were confused about that song for the last 50 fucking years, I hope I undid it for you. Anyway, so I'm a raincoat guy. I'm not an umbrella guy. You know, you walk down the street and then you got to lift it up, you know, because you don't want to hit somebody in the fucking eye with it, and then you just becomes this thing, you know, unless you get one of the smaller ones, and then the smaller one, all it does is keep from your eyebrows up dry, and the rest of you gets fucking drenched. So I just go raincoat. And I'm an older man at this point, so, you know, if they had raincoat pants like readily available, I would buy those too. But only if they were like NBA tearaway style, which is what you want. So when you show up to work, people go, "You got on fucking rain jacket pants, man." That's when you fucking rip them off right in front of them. Like you're going in to drop 40 on the fucking Knicks, you fucking rip them off, and then all that fucking rainwater goes all over them. How, you want to talk about my pants? What do you think about my pants now? Look at you. You need a face towel. But then what you have to have on underneath it, you got to have some fucking sick ass, like, you know, badass clothes, and everybody else has on their rain fucking outfit because they bought a fucking umbrella, and they were all making fun of you, you know? Because you fucking showed up like you had upper deck tickets for the Cleveland Browns or some shit. Anyway, the hell did I want to talk about? I saw some fucking good movies this week. I watched that Robert Duvall movie with Karen Black. Amazing, amazing actor. One of my favorites. And it's called The Outfit. And dude, there was some. It's one of the greatest 70s car movies ever, as far as like you're just watching it like, what the fuck kind of car is that? There was a car in there. I'm not good with the Chrysler Dodge Plymouth shit, but it was called a Monaco, a 1973, and it was like this beige, but more on the white side beige. And it looked like they were combining an LTD with an Eldorado and I don't know, some sort of Chrysler shit, you know? Chryslers were always fucking weird to me. I like their muscle cars, but like their luxury cars had, they weren't cool. They were like old man looking, I always felt, the Chrysler shit. And the Chevys were the best looking, the Cadillac. You can't beat the fucking Cadillac. And Buicks were a close second. And then the Lincolns, you know, obviously the Lincoln Continental, the suicide door one, that one is iconic. But I don't like that one from the 50s where they got the, you know, the lights on top of the lights and it's at like a 45-degree angle. It was the longest production car ever. Like the back end on that car is just, I don't know. I don't like it at all. But Chevy, man, I hate to say it, being a Ford guy, in the fucking 60s, the Impala, the Malibu. What else did? What was their fucking top of the? I guess it was a Cadillac. But that's back when they used to have like, you know, I've talked about this a million times, but I really wish they would get back to this shit because, you know, luxury cars, they didn't make an entry model or an affordable fucking model. You had to be successful. Yeah, you had to be crushing it to drive a Cadillac. If you were just crushing it, but not crushing it, you got the Buick. If you weren't quite crushing it, you got an Oldsmobile. And if you were moving up, you got a Pontiac. And if you just fucking got there, you drove a Chevy. That's how it worked. And it was like, I'll just throw numbers out. Like, so you could get a Chevy for $5,000 to $6,000. Then Pontiacs was $7,000 to $9,000. It was just like that. It moved up in like $2,000-$3,000 increments. But there was no like $5,000 Cadillac just so you could say you're driving a Cadillac. They, you know, you had to have your big boy pants on back then, and you also had to be a man. All right, if you were a woman, you had to fucking stay home. I told you a long time ago, I was on the road and I saw this sign in this diner. It said, "Get her a Ford." It was from like the 1940s, and I was thinking like, wow, man, it's pretty luxurious that you would buy your wife a car. I thought people were sort of one-car families back in the day. Who had the money to go buy their wife a new car? And then I realized what they were saying. It's like, you know, get her a Ford. You drive the Lincoln. You drive the Mercury. Okay, you just get her an entry. She doesn't need to worry her little head with all these buttons and electric windows and all of this shit. You know, a V8 engine. She can't handle that. Just get her a Ford. Let her putz around town. She'll feel fucking special. I wish I could talk to a woman from back then. Like, what the fuck was that? They don't seem like they were upset, though. But it was just like... It's kind of funny now to listen to women how openly they discuss how dumb they find men. And I just can't imagine during that fucking time the confusion of that. That you would be sitting there listening to these fucking morons talking about all this shit. I can't imagine what they used to talk about when the guys went to work. They must have been laughing their asses off. But just be like, you know, be like smarter in a lot of ways. And this meathead guy's coming home talking to you like you don't know your fucking ass from a hole in the ground. I always feel like that's got to be like what it's like for people that come to this country and they're like bilingual and they got to listen to Americans who only speak one language, give them shit because they speak English with like an accent. It's like, yeah, it's a second language and I can actually communicate with you. I know I have an accent, but I can speak more than one language. Like, what the fuck? It is kind of funny how like English is like the language of the world, and everybody thinks like, oh, the reason why that is because it's the best language of the fucking white people, best fucking that dumb shit. It's like, no, it's because the English went around the world and fucking had an empire. That's what happened. And they made people speak it. Speak the King's English. I don't want to listen to you speaking your fucking mumbo. Hey, I don't got time for your culture in your own country. But thanks to the tyranny and the oppression of the English Empire, Americans, we can travel around a lot of places and and we don't have to learn to speak a fucking language. It's kind of amazing. I don't think it's good for us. I wonder if we have more dementia in this country because we only speak one. Because they say that, you know, I get afraid of that. I get scared of that shit. So like, they say like, you know, taking naps is good for your brain, playing an instrument, learning another language or whatever. Which I've been getting my ass kicked on fucking Duolingo because, you know, they got that stupid shit where they get you to compete with other people. And it's been very liberating because I only have time to do one lesson a day. So I'm keeping my streak going. I've done French almost 160 days in a row, but like since I've been rehearsing in the play, I've only done like 1 or 2 lessons a day. And then the app goes like, you're gonna get demoted unless you're above the line. And it's just like, you know, just go fuck yourself with that, okay? I'm just so sick of how everything turns into, you know, get them to run, get them to chase the fucking carrot so they interact with it. Anyway, so, oh Christ, what the fuck did I just do to my hub? Did I just hit stop? I did, right? Is it still going? It's still going. It's still going. All right, let me do something right here. Very important announcement. Here we go. The 12th annual Patrice O'Neal Comedy Benefit is going to be Sunday, May 18th at the New York City Center, 131 West 55th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue, New York City. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 7:30 p.m. The lineup is as follows. Rosebud Baker, Greer Barnes, DC Benny, Tim Dillon. I'm going to mess this name up. Nemish Patel, Sean Patton, and me, Bill Burr, and as always, the great Rich Voss, who's done it 11 times, will be coming back to MC. And we might have a special guest drop in. I'm working on that right now. You never know who's going to show up. Tickets are on sale now. They are $75, and tickets can be purchased online at nycitycenter.org/Patrice2025. Patrice is Patrice, Pat Rice. Or by calling the box office at 212-581-1212. All of this info will be posted on my socials, handles, and on my website. And as always, shout out and thank you to our amazing producer, Maureen Taryn. She is the captain of the ship, and she's the reason why it goes every year. So anyway, look at that. I think the rain stopped. Would you look at that? I also have, I might be adding another. I know I am. I just can't announce it yet for whatever fucking dumb reason. I have a benefit that I'm doing overseas that I'll be talking about more whenever I'm allowed to. I don't know how the fuck that works. Anyway, we're getting close. We're getting close to doing starting on Monday. Monday night, we go on in front of our first packed house previews. This is like previews. It's the preseason. And then the season starts March 31st. So I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how this plays. I can't wait to see where the laughs are, where the moments are, and all that shit. I've been having so much goddamn fun. And we rehearsed this morning, and then I had a little break. And I actually ran off and went to the fucking gym. I've been killing it. Oh, Billy No Tits. Look at that, man. It's fucking coming down. But I will tell you what. Oh, my God. I did some fucking damage. Jesus Christ. If you put my torso on the Meekum auction, it wouldn't have met the reserve. I'd have to take the reserve off, and I would be like, yeah, I'm not selling it. Forget it. I gotta. It's too much Bondo. Oh my God. You have no idea how fat you are until you do yoga without a shirt on, and there's like a fucking mirror to the side, and you're doing a forward bend. You're like, what the fuck? What, do I sell shoes for a living? Who the fuck is that? Is that me? Jesus fucking Christ. Just no excuse for it. There's really no excuse for how out of shape I got. If you guys work for a fucking living, you have to be somewhere. You know what I mean? I got all goddamn day to not be a fat fuck. And I still failed at it. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. So I went over to my big gay gym that I joined, gay as it wants to be, and. I got in there and I got on the treadmill. I put it at the fucking angle I needed to. I worked it. I was walking briskly so I would burn fat, because that's the new way they say that you're burning fat. You know what I mean? And I do like these guys on like the fucking social medias, when the medias of social. When I love people that give advice and they're like yelling at you. You know what I mean? You can just see like the awful parent that the person had. You're sitting there like, why are you yelling at me, dude? Teach me about, stop doing cardio before you lift weight. All right, man. I didn't know it was bad. As far as I know, this is the first time you're telling me. I believe it's the first time I met you. Like, like, what are we doing here? So anyway, I figure once I get to once we stop like doing all the rehearsals or tech run-throughs, and we're just doing the show, even on the days when I have a matinee, I don't have to go to work. I got all my whole morning free so I can finally fucking get my goddamn ass back in shape. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'll tell you one thing. Okay? Everybody fucking talking about snowflakes this and snowflakes that. I'll tell you, you know, the biggest example of fucking being a snowflake and soft is American jeans. You know, with these elastic waistbands. So the number on your jean, you know, whatever, 34, 32, you could actually be a 38 waist and you can still get into 34. They're not fucking helping it. They're all, I'm telling you, they're all in fucking cahoots with each other. Oh my God. I actually went out and I got like one of those tape measure things that people get when they're measuring you for a suit. And I put that fucking thing around my waist. It went up to 39 inches and I ran out of tape. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. I have 8 inches I gotta lose. I gotta get back down to a fucking 32, which I'm gonna do, but I've been eating fucking protein and that shit, so I'm not gonna go Dallas Buyers Club on you here. I'm gonna fucking Billy Peck's here. I'm trying, whatever. What the fuck ever, you know? Anyway, who gives a shit? It's MotoGP season. It's fucking March Madness season. F1 is going. Fucking Marc Marquez is riding with the factory Ducati team. Lewis Hamilton is with Ferrari. You know, he's going to try to fucking dethrone that other kid who keeps winning, who I always call is Sebastian Vettel. I always fuck up the names. I'm not a big F1 guy. Although, you know what's funny is I keep getting shit on my Instagram of Jackie Stewart telling stories. That guy has such amazing goddamn stories. That guy drove when people fucking died. People fucking died in that goddamn sport back when that guy drove. Jesus Christ. They used to drive these race cars. They look like that shit the kids would make in, remember Cub Scouts? Is that still legal? Was there enough kids that got molested? Well, I guess the Catholic Church is still legal. If that's still legal, you still gotta have to have scouting, right? Jesus fucking Christ. I'll tell you, it was a wild time when I was growing up, man. There was just creepers the church, scouting, paper route, martial arts, Little League baseball, Pop Warner football. I mean, they were behind the tree in the park. You know, it's funny because sometimes I think, like, because of social media and all of this shit out there, that, like, it's so, like, it's almost like kind of like the amount of people that are now, like, smoking weed or eating gummies or anything like that. It's off the fucking chain now because it's legal. Before it was legal, I mean, you had to have a guy. You had to know somebody. Sometimes it wasn't consistent or whatever, so it was a fucking pain in the ass. And now it's legal. Everybody fucking does it. So I kind of thought, like, you know, pedophiles and all that, I felt like it feels like there's more today because of, like, social media and all of that type of shit. And I just think maybe it's easier to be a creep now. I don't know. I have no idea. But I still think there was the same amount. It's kind of like how people feel like, you know, we're getting dumber. Yeah, we're not. We're not getting dumber. If you go back, just watch vintage newsreels where they go out and they talk to people in the street and they get their ideas on shit, and you'd be surprised. I mean, there's some people that are more eloquent than people today, but people at least have more of a worldview. You know, at least a national view with the fucking internet. Because back in the day, you lived in your hometown. That's what the fuck you knew. You knew that, the local news, and the local sports team. That was it. Like when I moved to New York City, I remember in the mid-'90s, one of my buddies from back home he goes, you know, where do you live? And I told him I was living on, you know, what the fuck was I, 97th and Lexington. And he was like, dude, what's with all the fucking numbers down there? What's with the, like, clueless. Like, I had no idea. Like, when I thought of New York City, it was Empire State Building, taxi cabs, Frank Sinatra. And there was a couple of big concerts in Central Park. That's all I knew. And obviously the sports teams, but I didn't know I couldn't name the boroughs. I'd heard of them, but if you asked me to name all of them, I couldn't have done that. I would have missed Manhattan, and I would have missed Staten Island because they just called it New York City. But you heard enough about Brooklyn and the Bronx because a Welcome Back Kotter was in Brooklyn, and then fucking Robert Redford did that movie Fort Apache, The Bronx. So I knew of those, and that was it. Because I saw a news clip recently, and it was about the busing riots and all that in Boston. And they were talking to people in the street. Jesus Christ. You want to talk fucking meatheads. Fucking meatheads. That was one of the dumbest ideas in the history of Massachusetts. That they took a place that racist and they were like, you know what I think would be a good idea? You know all these people that fucking hate each other up there and they don't get along? Well, what if we just mixed them all up? What if we forced them to interact with each other without, any sort of social lubricant beforehand? Let's just fucking throw them all together and see what the fuck happens. For you younger people, spoiler alert, it didn't work out. It didn't go so well. It was fucking insane. Yeah, that was, that's one of those stupid liberal ideas. Like, well, what if we just put them all together and then they just fucking interact and then it fucking all work? Is that, you're just going to do that? You're not going to, there's going to be no education, no sort of ease in the things. You're just going to put them together, huh? That's what you're going to do. All right. Would you just watch Trading Places? Anyway, let me do some of these reads here for the week. Squarespace. Hey folks, this podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. If you don't know Squarespace, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that makes it ridiculously easy to build a professional website. Whether you're launching a business, showing off your creative work, or trying to sell something online, they've got everything you need all in one place. It's so simple that even someone like me, a fucking moron, according to this copy, who has zero patience for technology, can make it look good. All right, you know what? All they're saying with that paragraph is they listen to the podcast. All right, guilty as charged. And if you're one of those people always saying, I got this idea, but I don't know where to start, this is where you start. Let me tell you about a few things I think you'll like. Their fancy drag and drop design tool called Fluid Engine. You don't need to know anything about coding or design. Relax. Just pick one of their templates and make it your own. You want to sell t-shirts? Is that what the fuck you want to do? With your catchphrases? Or maybe mugs with your dog's face on them, you fucking weirdo. Squarespace makes it easy. You designed it. They handle production, shipping, and all of that. I'm trying to think what you could do with that. You could put faces on a mug. It'd be funny if you put a face of your wife on it and you draw a line through it, and underneath it you just say, not today. Or you have a picture of your wife, and there's like that police tape over her mouth, and then just underneath, it's like, not until after my coffee. I don't know why I say that. I get along great with my wife, but it's just funny. It's just fun to annoy people. Oh my God, it would be fucking wild? What if you got a coffee mug and it had all your ex-girlfriend's name on it with like an X through it, and then your latest girlfriend or your wife, and there was just a question mark after it? You know where I got that idea from? That was Dave Navarro. That's what his pick looked like when he played with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He had every guitarist's name with a line through it before he played with them, and then he had his name, and then underneath it he had a question mark. All right, anyway, got video content. They let you organize and showcase it beautifully on your site. You can even sell access to it through member areas. So If you got a side hustle like online classes or stand-up clips, this is a great way to monetize. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to www.squarespace.com/Burr to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's Squarespace, SQUARESPACE. Isn't that unbelievable? The amount of fucking things out there have the same letters as Mississippi. Squarespace.com/Burr to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I think it's supposed to say domain, but it says Damon, like Matt Damon. All right, here we go. Helix. What's the most important part of your daily routine? Whatever you do to calm down before bed. Read, meditate, stretch, binge reality TV, not recommended. Finish a bottle of booze. Your mind is racing. You have a million things going on. You need to rest. A good night's sleep is so important. They capitalized the second so. That's why you need the best mattress in the business. Helix mattress. Can you remember the last great night of sleep you've had? You wake up refreshed and ready for the day. For most of us, that feeling is all too rare. But it doesn't have to be. Find your perfect mattress fit with Helix Sleep today. Take their sleep quiz to see which mattress suits your unique sleep needs. Say that 3 times fast, you bastards. They provide free U.S. shipping and a limited lifetime warranty. How can you have a limited lifetime warranty? It's either a lifetime warranty or you have a limited warranty. Limited lifetime. You even get a 100-night sleep trial. Gross. That's almost a third of a full year. Try out your Helix mattress for 100 nights. A lot can happen in 100 nights. And Helix is so confident in their products, they want you to experience it for yourself. Go to helixsleep.com/Burr for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Burr for 20% off site-wide. HELIXSLEEP.com. It didn't work out. /Burr. All right. There we go. All right. Well, I think that is the podcast, everybody. I'm going to see if I can watch this MotoGP race from last. I saw some of the highlights. What happened? Marc Marquez was cruising, and then he slowed down because he was trying to save his tires and let somebody pass him so he could try to pass him back. I was confused. I didn't understand what was happening. I'll tell you right now, I don't know why. This is the first time in a long time. I have the urge to go to a dive bar by myself. Sit down, all right? And just start fucking boozing. You know? 1 ice cube, 4 fingers. All right? Up and over the ice cube. Don't give me this eyedropper shit, all right? You know? And have like 3 of them. Come home, face down on the mattress, pointed in the wrong direction. You know? Wake up the next morning in sweatpants with 1 sock on. Going, oh, God, what the fuck did I do? You know? I'm not going to do it. But I was leaving the theater tonight, and I was thinking, like, man, if I was still drinking, I would go out tonight. And you know what? I don't want to go out with anybody else. I want to go out by myself. Okay? And fuck all these people that talk about drinking by yourself. It's a red flag. It is a red flag, but I'll tell you right now, I don't want to encourage this behavior. I loved drinking alone. I'm not trying to go George Thorogood on you, but I fucking enjoyed it. On a fucking weekday night, enjoying the privilege of being in this fucking business, that I could go out on a Wednesday night and get fucking shit-faced because I didn't have anywhere to be until 8 o'clock the next night at a goddamn Funny Bone. Those, my friend, were the fucking days. I had no kids, I had no wife, and I could just go out and I could get fucking hammered. Fucking hammered. That's how I dealt with my demons back in the day. Now what I do is I sit here alone and I watch old movies from the 70s. Once again, I highly recommend The Outfit with Robert Duvall and Karen Black and a whole bunch of other great actors in it. And the fucking cars are amazing. And I really feel like that those four-door sleds, because they're rare, I think that they're going to be worth something at some point. Maybe not. I don't know. All I know is I'm thinking about getting another, I need a daily driver. I'm just looking at everything. I looked at the Burt Reynolds fucking Trans Am. You get one of those in mint condition, these fucking assholes want $200,000 for it. For a fucking Pontiac? Go fuck yourself. Fucking Trans Am. That car was a piece of shit. Everybody knew that. You had that car 3 years. You did like 20 burnouts on it. The fucking transmission fell out. They didn't make that car right. That was actually after the catalytic converter. $200,000 for an underpowered fucking car you can't even keep on the goddamn road. It's the Smokey and the Bandit one. If you get the red one, it's like $40,000. That's how fucking good-looking Burt Reynolds was. He was so good-looking and charismatic that he made that piece of shit worth $200,000 all these fucking years later. Rest his soul. You don't see movie stars like that coming around. Maybe you do. I'm just fucking old. I don't want to be that cunt. Anyway, plowing ahead here. That's the podcast. Have a great weekend, you cunts. And, remember, all right? It's the United States of America. United States. Don't hate other states, all right? People allowed to think different things. Let's stay together. Don't let a handful of fucking billionaires that own 24-hour news network fucking divide you. Go to that mom and pop place, goddammit. Fuck these box stores. Fuck these billionaires. All right, that's it. Listen to the music picked out by the amazingly talented Andrew Themlis, and then we have a bonus episode of the Thursday afternoon just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. All right, take it easy. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday morning podcast for Monday, March 6th, 2017. What's going on, everybody? I am in Phoenix, Arizona. Isn't that exciting? Phoenix, Arizona. It actually is, man. I'm psyched. I'm working at Stand Up Live, doing 2 shows tonight, 2 shows Tuesday, 2 shows Wednesday. I'm putting together my new hour and everything, and I got a bunch of shit. I've actually been listening to my act. I always, when I'm putting together a new hour, I always record. I just never fucking listen. Well, now I'm finally listening to my act. I figured it out when I can do it, because who the fuck wants to sit there and listen to yourself? What I'm doing is I listen to it on the car ride home. If I had a decent set, if I had a shitty set, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're always taping your team, right? But you only watch if they win. I know people who do that shit. They know what the fuck happens before they watch it, and if they lose, they just don't even fucking watch. So I've actually been watching and that type of shit. And speaking of which, your team winning and losing, old Freckles came in last night, and I went to the Phoenix Suns were playing my Boston Celtics. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to go to that game, right? My 117th fucking franchise, professional home team, professional sports team that I've seen a home game of. 117 of these motherfuckers. I got 10 more to go. I can't get underneath 10. Every time I get to 10, and I'm like, one more team, then I'll have 9 left, then somebody moves. I got down to 10. I'm like, all right, the next one's going to get me down to 9. And then the Rams move back up to 11, right? So then I go see the Thunder, and I'm thinking, all right, look, man, I'm down to 9. And I'm like, wait a minute. I saw the New Jersey Nets. I never saw the Brooklyn Nets. So it's still 10. So I'm like, all right, next week when I go see the Suns, I'll be down to 9 teams left, right?
So I'm sitting there watching the Suns, and I'm like, Verzi, I'm down to single digits. The fan slam is going down. One of the loneliest accomplishments ever. I guess if you went with a bunch of other people. I got to find the old pictures of me at these stadiums. I swear to God, they're all like disposable camera pictures held by a stranger. You know, when I was doing all these fucking gigs in the middle of nowhere and shit. And I'd pass through the major cities and I would just go to a goddamn game. Anyways, so last night I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to the Suns-Celtics game. I'll have 9 teams left. And I'm like, wait a minute, the fucking Chargers just moved to Los Angeles. So in a month, I'm working in San Antonio and I'm going to a Spurs game. Going to the fucking Spurs. And then I think I'll finally be down to 9. You know, God forbid if the fucking Raiders don't move to Vegas after that. But anyways, I went to the Suns game, right? So I show up immediately. The club hooked us up with tickets, gave us great tickets. We were sitting 2 rows behind the fucking, one of the, what do you call it in basketball? One of the nets, one of the goals, one of the backboards, right? Two rows back. So it's really 3 rows back because they got all the fucking cameramen, you know? But still, it's like great seats. And I look down on the right, and there's this guy just riding the refs in the first quarter, and he really gives a shit. So I'm looking at Verzi, and I'm just looking over going, look at this fucking guy's out of his mind. There's a guy who gives a shit. This is a hardcore season ticket holder, man. Look how much, I'm laughing. Like, he's just, like, he knows the refs' names. He's calling them out and all that shit. And Verzi starts going, he goes, I bet that's the owner. I'm like, nah, the owner wouldn't be sitting down. He wouldn't be yelling like that if he was the owner. And he's like, well, Mark Cuban rides the refs like that. I go, get the fuck out of here. So finally, I go, all right, man, I'm going to look this guy up, right? So we look him up, and it's the owner. I got to tell you, Phoenix Suns, dude, you guys got a great fucking owner. Robert Sarver is his name, man. We ended up talking to him at the end of the game because I tweeted, I was making fun of, what's his face, his shoes, his sneakers, the fucking worst sneakers I've ever fucking seen. Kelly Olynyk, the big white goof, the 7-foot fucking pylon out there, right? Celtics love that guy. He got so many goddamn minutes. Maybe it's a road trip or whatever. But, dude, he had these fucking sneakers on. I think Garo Yepremian wore him in that fucking Super Bowl against the Redskins when he fucked up the field goal. Dude, they looked like black football cleats from the early 70s. The ugliest fucking things I've ever seen. So, of course, I tweet about that's what I did. So I tweeted about the thing, and I guess the owner's son was watching. He goes, oh, he's probably sitting right next to you, blah, blah, blah. That's how I ended up meeting the guy. But anyways, long story short, so I tweet about this fucking things, making fun of the guy's sneakers, thinking, obviously, these have to be the worst fucking sneakers. Without a doubt, even with the internet, even with Twitter, even with all of these fucking cunts that are on social media, nobody can argue that these are the ugliest fucking sneakers ever, right? They were low-top fucking field goal kicker cleats from the fucking early 70s, right? And all these sneakerheads are like, you mean the Kobe 11s? I guess it's the Kobe Bryant sneaker. And what, because it says Kobe on it, all of a sudden it's the Kobe's? Dude, do you mean the Shaq 14s? I fucking hate sneakerheads. I fucking can't stand them with their 5,000 fucking pairs of sneakers, taking them out of the box, showing them off on MTV Cribs and licking the sole. So it's like, you see, I never even wore these joints before. Yeah, I can tell from your fucking man tits you never wore them before. They're sneakers. Why don't you go take a fucking walk in them? Verzi's a big sneakerhead. I'll tell you, you know what is fucking overrated? It's so fucking overrated. Jordans. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're not good looking, some of them. Most of them are fucking ugly as shit. And, dude, the fucking mouth-breathing dopes. Maybe that's what it is. The amount of oh, geez, I'm walking around now. Dude, the amount of fucking dopes that wear Jordans. You know what it is about Jordans? You don't even have to fucking think. You know what I mean? All you got to do is get a pair of Jordans. You know everybody's going to like them. Oh, yo, are those the 6s? Are those the Jordan 6s? Dude, look at these 6s. I got them with the black, with the gold outline. Yo, these sneakers are crazy, right? These sneakers are crazy. You know, I don't know. These fucking mouth-breathing morons with their goddamn sweatpants and their Jordans. You know? Furzie's a big Jordan guy. He loves Jordans. He's wearing a pair this week. They're fucking ugly as shit. They're all black, and then they got like this white wall tire thing down. And just because it says Jordans, I'm going to go, Paul goes, dude, check out these new Jordans. You like them? I go, no, I don't. And he can't understand. He goes, they're Jordans. Dude, these are Jordan 1s. It's like, dude, I don't give a fuck if they're Jordan 9. I'm so sick of the numbers. Dude, what's your favorite Jordan? You like the 7s? Really? You like the 7s? Now, you got to make sure that it just says Nike on the back. If it has him on the back, then those aren't the real ones. The Kobe 11s? Like, what do you guys think? That if you fucking put them on, you're somehow going to be able to dunk? You're going to score close to 80 points in a fucking NBA game because you're wearing Kobe's? The Sedale 7s? I don't know. I don't understand. And if a fucking sneaker's ugly, it's ugly. I don't give a shit. I cannot fucking believe. If you guys, you have to go on and you have to look at a picture of those fucking sneakers. They're like referee sneakers from the fucking early 80s. It's just a black, low-top fucking slipper with the Nike swoosh on it.
Dude, you mean the Kobe 11s?
Dude, the Kobe 11s are fucking crazy. They're crazy. I'm telling you, you get yourself a fucking tracksuit and you put on a pair of those, dude, over. You go out to the club, people, are those the 6s? I just don't understand fucking basketball sneakers, okay? Some of them are good looking, some of them aren't. Just, they drive me up the fucking wall. Paul Verzi is the funniest fucking human being I've ever met in my life. Like, he's one of these guys, like, I love him to death, but the shit that he likes, he likes obvious shit. He'd be like, dude, you know what I like? You know what I like? I like amenities. It's like, really, dude, you like getting extra shit? Extra comforting shit? That's amazing. You know, I never really thought about that. I don't know. I have to think about this. Do I like amenities? You know what I like, Paul? I like a lack thereof. I like less than. Like, who would ever say that? Dude, you know what? Dude, is there anything better than pizza? Is there anything better than a great slice of pizza? Dude, you know what I like? I like a bologna sandwich. Dude, a bologna sandwich with white American cheese and mustard, dude. Dude, the mustard puts it over the top. It's crazy. It's a joke. I mean, it's literally a joke. I don't know. It's like, does it even need to be said? Of course, it's a bologna sandwich. Yeah, it fucking hits the spot. Old mainstream Paulie. Dude, you know what I like? You know what I like? I like a golden retriever. Dude, you know what's crazy? A white picket fence. Sorry. I got to get him back on this podcast because Bartnick calls him Mr. Maxim. Because everything that he likes, he likes what everybody likes. But then he's got this simplistic fucking great philosophy where he'll be like, Bill, what's wrong? What's wrong with sweatpants? You know, and you can't argue with them. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, the conversation is just like, it just doesn't need to be, most of the conversation just doesn't even need to be had. Dude, is there anything better than just walking around in sweatpants? Dude, you put on a pair of sweatpants with some Jordan 3s? Over. Dude, what is better than having on a hoodie and a pair of Kobe 11s? You go to a massage parlor and she's jerking your dick. I mean, am I crazy? It's over. It's a joke. It's a joke. All right, I'm sorry. Fuck all you sneakerheads out there. God bless you with your little fucking hobby of keeping your sneakers clean and, you know, fucking walking on your heels anytime there's any sort of rubbish on the ground. Grown fucking men just walking like a goddamn duck on their heels. Hey, buddy, what the fuck you doing? I got on the 7s. What is it, the first day of school? Dude, you know what I love? You know what I love? Is there anything better than when it snows on Christmas? That's the type of shit he says. It's like, no, yeah, that's great, Paul. I think everybody's pretty much in agreement. I even think Jewish people like if it snows on Christmas. You know what I mean? It probably adds to their Chinese food. I don't like, who the fuck doesn't like a fresh blanket of snow? As long as it isn't a goddamn storm. Dude, you know what? I like amenities. Is there anything better than taking a steam? No. I mean, you know, that is a great thing that everyone is in agreement with. You know what I like, dude? I like fresh air. Is there anything better than like non-polluted air when you breathe in? I mean, it's crazy. It's a joke. Jesus. I went on a fucking tangent there. Oh my God, for half a second I thought the recorder wasn't recording. I forgot my fucking microphone, so this might sound a little bad. Dude, is there anything better than just laying in your bed and just waking up and doing your podcast? I mean, it's a joke. It's literally, it's a joke. You know, I have to look up these fucking sneakers. How the fuck Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest fucking top, 2-3 players of all time, individual players, teammate, he was a fucking nightmare. You wait till that fucking confessional comes out. Let me sit there, put in my password here. Stupid Laker fans always chant MVP at the guy. I hate that Celtic fans are chanting MVP at Isaiah Thomas, by the way. It reminds me of Laker fans that were always, every time fucking Kobe stepped on the court and did not pass the ball and scored 40 fucking points and they lose again. And they, MVP. Did you see him dunk on that guy and then they lost? Oh my God, he's unbelievable. Maybe if we get 58 free agents in here and fucking Phil Jackson, they can win a title. MVP. All right. No, but he's wearing the Kobe's. He's wearing the Kobe 11. I have to look these fucking sneakers up, how ugly these goddamn things are. And the fact that these fucking sneakerheads. You mean the Kobe's? I mean the rep sneakers. Those fucking cleats this guy's wearing. He looks like fucking Ken Stabler out there. Kobe 11. You cannot tell me that the computer doesn't listen to you. Oh my, those are fucking dancing slippers. Jesus, at least he got the best color. They come in pink. They come in red and white. They got a Miami Dolphin color. Dude, those literally look like women's sneakers. Like, you should have like the low-cut sock with the little ball on the back if you wear those fucking things. And look at the ones, $130. I bet if I went on YouTube and I looked up Kobe 11s, I bet there's some fucking asshole sitting there licking the fuck. Who was the guy? Fat Joe did that in his MTV Cribs. And he had like, check these out. These are like the fucking Jordan 6s. And then he licked the bottom of them. It's like, dude, do you realize the sweatshop that those things were fucking made in? And you think those things didn't hit the ground in there? And God knows, they probably make those people go to the bathroom at their fucking station. And you're going to lick the bottom of those goddamn sneakers? They were in a hermetically sealed sneaker box. Dude, they were in a cardboard box and were shipped over here from the other side of the world. I think I'll put my tongue on them. All right, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to see if I can find that. I'm going to find a fucking video here. Kobe 11s. All right. I don't know why, but the first video that came up said exploding poo, and a guy had shit on his face. Now, I didn't think they did that type of stuff on fucking Kobe 11s shoes. All right, and some asshole's going to do a fucking review. Nike Kobe 11 performance review. Dude, these are the ugliest fucking sneakers I've ever seen in my life. These ones are actually worse. Kobe Bryant gives LeBron James his autographed shoes. God, what the fuck do they talk about other than winning championships? That'd be like listening to fucking Superman and like fucking Batman talking. All right, Kobe gives away shoes to a fan. Here's I shit all over the guy. He's like the nicest guy ever. Kobe helps a busload of sick children get to the Staples Center by towing it with his own body in his Kobe 11s. All right, maybe I was wrong. Nike, Kobe. I got to get off this fucking subject. What am I, listening to some guy do a fucking review of the sneakers? Nike Kobe 11 performance overview. My initial thoughts. I fucking love YouTube. Who gives a I guess you guys are listening to my thoughts, but I'm just being a fucking moron. Anyways, let's get back to the goddamn game. All right? So Kelly Olynyk's out there, and his Kobe 11s, dude, they were fucking crazy. Dude, you get a 7-foot white guy in Kobe 11s? It's over. I mean, the black guys are still going to go right around him and have their nuts in his face when they dunk on him. But I mean, his feet from the ankles down, it's over. It's going to be it's a joke. It's literally a joke. All right. Anyway, so we watch this game. The owner of the Suns is a fucking riot. Totally, just watching him riding the referees like old school guy. You know, right down there on the court watching the game. And, he's not about some luxury box or anything like that, right? So anyway, so we're watching the game, and the Celtics come out flat, which you knew they were gonna. You knew they were gonna because they've just beat the Lakers. Anytime, I'm telling you this right now, gamblers, anytime any Boston team, right? I would say the Bruins or the fucking Celtics go on that West Coast trip, okay? If you want to make some money, bet against them the day after they play either the Clippers, the Kings, or the Lakers. Because they fucking go to L.A., and after the game, they all go out, they bang a bunch of fucking broads, a bunch of fucking actresses, or whatever the fuck it is they do. And then the next game, when they go to San Jose, down to Anaheim, out to Phoenix, up to Portland, whatever the fuck they go next, there's always a letdown. So the Celtics come out flat. The fucking Suns are all over them. Whoever the guard was on the Suns was just as fast, it seems, as Isaiah, so he was right up on him, frustrating the hell out of him. I mean, Isaiah had, I think, 4 fouls in the first half, and so we're watching the game, and I'm just going like, I fucking knew it. I'm so excited to finally see this team. I've been watching, seen almost every game of this year, and they come out flat. I'm like, oh, man, am I really going to the fucking hangover game? What do I give a shit? I got free fucking tickets. But still, there's a bunch of Celtics fans there. They're all going fucking nuts and everything. We had like nothing to cheer about. I think we were down by like 10 after the first half. And we just start chipping away. First half was ugly. I mean, it was like a first quarter score with like 4 minutes to go. It was like 32-27. It seemed. Maybe it was like 6 minutes to go. So at the half, I think they were both in like the 40s. I don't even remember. And I said, Paul, jokingly, I go, you watch, they're both going to score over 100. They're going to heat up or whatever. So, of course, they come out and everybody starts hitting their shots. It turns into this great game. And then the fourth quarter comes and we start chipping away. We're down by like 10 or 11. And then we're down by 8. Then we're down by 5. And then we're down by 4. Next thing you know, we're up by like 2. So you guys all know how the fucking game ends, right? We fucking missed... What's his face? Brown missed that foul shot, and Isaiah missed a foul shot that would have fucking iced it. And we let him hang around. In the end, I can't remember who was tied or we were up by 1. It all happened. So, it happens so fucking fast when you're at the game and you don't have an announcer holding your hand and you don't have something that you can actually look at. There's too much shit to look at. So we go to inbound the fucking ball. Right? This guy goes around Jay Crowder. I think tied it up. We're like, fuck, right? That's right. We were up by 2. Instead of being up by 3 and forcing him to take a 3, and they probably would have missed the fucking thing. That's right. And the guy goes right around Crowder, lays it in. Crowd's going nuts. There's like 4 seconds left. I go, all right. They're going to try to get it to Isaiah Thomas. Let's see what happens. We fucking inbound the ball. Isaiah, one of the only times I've seen him mess up this year, messed up the pass. He was kind of looking up court, because there was only 4 seconds left. Before he caught the ball, they kick it out to this fucking dude. What the hell was his name? I actually wrote it down so I would give him the respect he deserves. Tyler Eulis. They kick it out to him, and he hits a fucking three-pointer at the buzzer to beat the Celtics. Now, here's the thing. I had second-row fucking seats, and guess what? I didn't even see the play. It happened on my end. You know why? Because the fucking assholes who are they're in the front fucking row. They inbound the ball, and they could see that, Thomas was fucking it up. They stand up. You're in the front fucking row. What are you standing up for? There's nothing in front of you. You fucking cunts. And all of a sudden, I just saw the ball go through the net, and everybody goes, and wah, the horn goes off. Everybody goes nuts. I go, what the fuck? Does that count? Did that just go in? What the fuck just happened? I had to go home to watch the replay to see what the fuck happened. I was sitting in the second row. I couldn't see it because these fucking assholes stood up in front of me. I don't understand standing up when nothing's in your way. Haven't you ever heard that expression? Why stand when you can sit? Why sit when you can lay down? Why stand up when you're in the front fucking row? What is blocking your goddamn view? Anyways, all right, I'm done fucking bitching here. I had a great time, and evidently Kobe 11s are fucking crazy, man. You know? Dude, Chris Everett should wear that fucking sneaker. That's what it looks like. It looks like one of the different colored ones are like, Do you know something? That is a testament to how great Kobe Bryant was. It's almost like he's so fucking good. Nike was at the factory going like, how fucking ugly do you think we could make a sneaker if we put your name on it? These people that lick the bottom of the fucking sneaker, will they still buy these goddamn things? You know what? Now that I'm looking at them, because I'm an old man, they don't look like you'd play basketball great. They look comfortable as hell as far as when they're in a different color, I guess. They look like slippers. Now, here's the thing I want to fucking ask you. Kobe had that horrific Achilles injury, I swear to God, which is like, that was the end of anybody's career. That is like the classic old man basketball injury, is you go to take a step and your fucking Achilles goes right up the back of your leg. Obviously I don't fucking play hoop at all, but I still I'm always stretching my fucking Achilles. I swear to God, before I get out of bed. I don't know what it is about that injury. I just know like 5 or 6 people that have had it, and I want no part of it. I want no fucking... You never walk right again. I mean, if you got Kobe's money, you can go to Germany and meet the grandsons of the Nazi fucking doctors, and they'll spin your fucking blood in a centrifuge, whatever the fuck they do, and then you come back and you can still dunk or whatever. But most people don't have Kobe money. So what's going to happen is you're going to go down to the veterinarian down the street, and he's going to sew that thing back, and you're never going to be, that's it. God help you if you're ever in a situation where there's panic and the crowd starts running and it's a stampede and you've blown out your Achilles at some point in your life. You're going to get trampled. You're going to be that zebra in the Serengeti that gets eaten by the fucking alligator is basically what's going to happen. But, he has the low tops. I wonder if that probably had nothing to do with it. I'm just surprised guys are wearing low-top fucking sneakers again. Like it's, because, I don't pay attention to this shit. I usually watch hockey, right? And Verzi's going like, no. Kobe kind of brought the low tops back. Everybody's wearing them. So I looked out on the court, and I saw a number of people with low tops. So people still had like these high-top sneakers on. But the amount of ones like that they were like Velcro. Like a little kid, he can't tie his sneakers. So they had like Velcro high tops with like a fucking belt around your ankle. And I don't know. I don't know about those either. You know what's hilarious? How arrogant I am that I actually think that the world cares what a 48-year-old white guy thinks about fucking sneakers. Why don't you just get a pair of shell toes? So anyways, we went to the goddamn game, and we had a great fucking time. Robert Sarver and his family are great. We met him briefly and just talked to him. Just great people. Like that guy, dude, if I was a Phoenix fan, I would be very happy with that guy as an owner, even though I know you guys are rebuilding. That guy fucking loves his team. There's a lot of owners, they don't give a shit. You know, they own a team so they can have hookers and blow up in a fucking suite. Dude, that guy, it looked like I was going to say, it's like he had money on the game. And he does. He's paying the fucking players. Anyways, all right, so let's plow ahead here. I should probably read some goddamn advertising right here. All right, Loot Crate. Oh, give me the loot. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get back to the fucking podcast. So I've been listening to a bunch of fucking old school country. Not all the way back to Hank Williams, but like that outlaw shit, you know? Right before the outlaw shit. Is George Jones considered outlaw? I don't know. But listening to him led obviously to all of these other fucking guys, right? And I ended up listening. I remember this song. Do you guys remember Johnny Paycheck? Johnny Paycheck was this country singer. And I swear to God, he had a hit song called Take This Job and Shove It. And it was such a fucking hit. It so struck a chord with people that they actually turned it into a movie. There was actually a movie called Take This Job and Shove It. It was about a fucking guy who was working in a job that he hated, and he wanted to tell him, you know, basically tell him to go fuck themselves, but he didn't have the nerve. And I think it was because the lyric was, someday I'm going to get the nerve to say it. And everybody could relate to it, being like, hey, I also hate my fucking life, and I want to make a change, but I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? It's like the whole Donald Trump fucking phenomenon. Not the informed people. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the mouth breather. You know what I mean? Like with Hillary Clinton, you had the informed person that wanted to vote for her, and then you had the hissy fit fucking dope. This will be great for women. Like your life was really going to fucking change. I swear to God, I just don't understand adults who haven't fucking figured it out yet, that you're on your own. Okay, playtime is over. Nobody cares about you. Okay, I don't care what color their fucking tie or their bra is. They don't. The level of money that you have to have, and then you have to give it to these people for you to even be on their radar. You have to be going to these $10,000, $100,000, $50,000 fucking plate dinners with them, and then you have to stand in a line of people that all paid that money. Okay? And you got to get up there with your fucking shapeshifter fucking lizard eyeballs, and you got to try to peer into their soul. I didn't think you talk to them. You just walk up with a napkin that says how much money you're going to give to them, and then you're on their fucking radar. Has nothing to do with your genitalia. Anyways. So I'm getting off the rails here. So this fucking guy, Johnny Paycheck, he's got this fucking song called Take This Job and Shove It. It's the funniest fucking there's no way to listen to this song and not fucking just be. I played it for Paul Verzi. He was crying, laughing. He goes, this can't be a real song. I go, dude, not only is it a real song, it was turned into a movie. Just the way he says shove it, his voice drops way down. He goes, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. My woman done left, took all the reasons I was working for. These are the actual lyrics. You better not try to stand in my way, 'cause I'm walking out the door. You can take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Then the stupid bass line comes on. Boop ba doo 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 ba doo doo. And he gets all like kind of quiet. You know when a redneck gets quiet, you know, and starts talking, leans in. It's fucking scary. You know? Non-whiteys, even for white people, that's fucking scary. There is nothing scarier than a redneck leaning in at a bar, thinking that we're all on the same team. That's some fucked up shit, because you're immediately like, I don't want any part of what you're about ready to tell me, sir, and I want to try to get out of this conversation gracefully. How do I dismount out of this fucking conversation? That the second when a fucking redneck looks the opposite way of the conversation and then leans in, I'm telling you, there should be like a fucking an injector seat on your bar stool to get you the fuck out of. Where'd he go? Did I get left behind? So I swear to God, so when he gets into the verse, right, it's like he's leaning in. I've been working in this factory for now on 15 years. All this time I watch my woman drowning in a pool of tears. You know, and what I love about all those old school country songs is that fucking women always leave. They're always crying or whatever. But these fucking assholes, they never say why. And whenever I listen to these songs, it's just like, dude, what the fuck were you doing? I get it. You're working at this factory. You don't like the job. Why is your woman drowning in a pool of tears? I mean, are you taking this fucking... So you don't have the balls to try to get a better job, tell your boss to fuck off, so what happens? You come home, you take it out on your wife? Is that what you're doing? I've had shit jobs. I've had low pay. For the first fucking, I don't know how many years of being a comedian, was a low-paying job. I never had a girlfriend drowning in a pool of tears. I mean, I definitely made him cry, but that's because I was an asshole. It had nothing to do with I wouldn't blame my job. I've been featuring on the road for now on 16 years. One of these days. Anyways, you just listen to the fucking song. You got to hear this song. You got to, Johnny Paycheck. I know I'm making fun of him, but I don't know, there's something about this. I listen to this fucking song and it just gives me all kinds of ideas for characters and shit like that in movies and whatever. But I've been downloading George Jones, Tammy Wynette, all of these fucking people, and I swear to God, you gotta listen to George Jones. These days, I barely get by. Is inadvertently one of the funniest fucking songs you're ever going to listen to in your life. Do you have one of those friends that just calls up and complains all the time? And you try to help them out and go, hey, well, what if you do? No, I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. The fucking guy who's just resigned himself. You know, hey, with my luck, this would X, Y, and Z would happen. It's like, yeah, with that fucking attitude, that's exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I got a couple of friends like that. After a while, you're just like, dude, you're a white guy in the United States of America. How far down the fucking track before the race starts do you have to be? Jesus fucking Christ. How the fuck are you complaining? Complaining, I'm not saying that white people should not complain. Okay, I know there's a lot of people drowning in a pool of tears. One of these days, I'm going to blow my top. It's like, dude, why don't you just address the fact that you don't like your job? Apply from some other jobs. If you don't have the training, take some night courses. You know, get the training you need. Instead of sitting there seething, coming home, taking it out on your fucking woman. George Jones has another fucking song called The Grand Tour. I'm telling you, you got to listen to these fucking songs, right? I listen to that song. It's like, George, what in the fuck did you do to your woman? It's like, step right up, come on in. If you'd want to take the grand tour of a lonely house that once was home sweet home. You're like, Jesus Christ. And this motherfucker, he goes through his whole house. Over there is the chair where she'd bring the paper to me and sit down on my knee and whisper, oh, I love you. You're like, Jesus Christ. Right there, you want to get out of the house. This motherfucker won't stop. Straight ahead is the bed where we lay and love and something. Dude, he gets all the way to the nursery. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And he goes, she took the fucking baby. And the key thing in all of this is he says, there's her rings and her things. And it's like, this fucking woman left all of her stuff and took the baby. George, what the fuck did you do to her? This woman didn't leave you. She fled the fucking scene. There's some sort of detail you're not fucking giving me here. Where are the empty booze bottles? I mean, what? I actually listened to that song. I feel bad for the woman in his life until I found out she left. Then I actually feel, yeah, get the fuck out of there. Get that kid out of there, too. I mean, I'm supposed to feel bad for you? Sounds like you went out back to chop some wood and she saw some daylight. Somehow got the chains off around her fucking ankles, grabbed the kid and got the fuck out of there. Anyways, let's read some... there's going to be some pure country fans. They're going to be like, you're missing the point, man. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. All right, Pro Flowers, everybody. Woman done left me. My woman done left me. Hey, Johnny Paycheck, come on. It's just you and me. What did you do? You know, I imagine if she fucked around on you, you would have mentioned it. All right, maybe I'm taking these fucking songs a little too seriously. I have a problem with that. Like when I listen to rap music, you know, like who's that new group that everybody's Migos? When I watch their videos and shit, and they're coming up in those supercars and they're holding the fucking money out, it literally, I have to look in the other direction. It just drives me nuts seeing artists doing that. I'm always thinking in my head, please buy some real estate. Please don't blow it all on fucking Kobe 11s. Oh my God. Dude, watching people who don't understand money, I guess, but I would say artists, you know. The shit that we fucking do, it's just the dumbest. You know what's another stupid fucking thing? I love these people that buy watches that are like, it's like, dude, that thing, you could hang that on the fucking wall. I'd know what time it was from across the room. Why do you have that on your wrist? The amount of guys that are like my height and my size walking around with a watch that only would look right on like a fucking offensive lineman is it's like, did you take that out of a submarine? Is that like deep sea scuba diving shit? So you can go, fucking go down to like what, 9,000 feet and the goddamn dial won't bust on it? I got me a big old watch. People in a different time zone can tell what time it is. Take this watch and shove it. All right. I'm getting up against it here. You know what I'm doing today, by the way? I'm going to go see old Cleo-dio. I'm going to see my dog Cleo. The people that ended up getting her from us live out here. So I'm actually going to get to see her. I'm visiting her today and tomorrow. And I can't wait to see her and everything. She's probably not even going to give a shit. Because she's probably going to be so in love with the other people. Because I kind of realized that going, well, she was in love with the people that had her before us. And within a week, she fucking loved us. I mean, dogs they adapt. They just fucking adapt. So I got another 5 minutes here, and then I got to take off. So I got time for like one question here. Let me see. Let me get a good one here. Righty. Hey, Dictator Bill. I'm 19 years old, and I've been with my girlfriend. My woman done left. I'm with my girlfriend now for 2 years. I know what you're thinking. Too young for all these silly problems. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking good for you. Way to go, fella. Anyway, for the first year of our relationship, literally everything was perfect. I still love her just as much as I did then. I'm sure she loves me just as much. However, during the second year of our relationship, an overnight shift changed, and then we stopped having sex. It's basically non-existent, and now and again, every couple of months it will happen, but I know she's not enjoying it. This is because she was on the implant, contraception injection. At first, I was questioning myself, and if it was me that wasn't getting her in the mood anymore, but she promises me that it isn't because of the implant. She says what the fuck is a contraception injection? Jesus, I've never heard of that shit. It's an injection, so you won't get pregnant? Dude, if you literally told me contraception actually meant it's going to get you pregnant, I would believe that too. That's like one of those fucking words that I just ignored my whole life. You know, like soliloquy. Like, what the fuck does that mean, you know? Contraception. Implant. Official site. Get the facts. Fuck that. I don't want facts. I want pictures. Images. Okay, they're showing it that it's nice and small. For some reason, they keep putting it up against their bicep. They stick it in your fucking arm? What? This looks like some fucking robot shit. Okay, it's birth control. Implant. They stick a fucking toothpick in your arm and then you can't have a baby? I don't get it. Anyways. Well, yeah, that's probably fucking annoying to have it in there. You know what I mean? She goes to hug you and the inside of her arm hurts. Anyways, after the first I was questioning myself, blah, blah. She says that it has caused her to completely lose her sex drive. She says she just had it removed and it's been a few weeks since and nothing has changed yet. I feel so much resentment towards her every day and what I can only describe as depression as soon as I see her most of the time. I find myself being such an angry, short-tempered person now when normally I'm usually happy and smiling. Jesus. Might be time to get out of this relationship, buddy. But you know something? If it really affected her like that, it depends on how long she had it in there. Maybe she needs longer than 2 weeks. But, you know, if you're going to be an angry lunatic, I mean, if you don't leave, eventually she's going to. But you know what? You get yourself a song on it. A woman done put a toothpick in her arm. Now she won't suck my dick. One of these days I'm going to whip it out and wipe it on the wall. You can take my dick and shove it. Right in your fucking mouth, you whore. Ba-doo-doo-doo-ba-doo-doo. Okay, I always seem to try and hide my need for sex and act like I don't ever want it and try to show disinterest, but I never can. I guess it just must be more important to me than it is to her. I never thought sex was such a big deal, but the last year has taught me that when there's bad sex life in a relationship, it can really cause the whole thing to just break down. It just got to the point now that I've said we need some space and a break because the last thing I want is to ruin our relationship. Dude, you're fucking miserable, man. And you have to, you know, you got to be with somebody and, like, understand them and, you know, be there when they're going through a tough time. But, like, you know, if they're not understanding how fucking miserable you are, you're just gonna keep getting more miserable, and then, you know, then they're gonna be miserable, and then in the end they're gonna fucking break up with you, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? I should have done that to them. Breaking up with somebody is not something you should do to them. It's something you should do for yourself. All right? And this is the deal, dude. You're not fucking happy. All right? You're not happy. It's great that you're taking a fucking break, and I would go out and I'd fucking go try to enjoy myself and meet somebody that doesn't have a fucking toothpick in their arm, that doesn't want to touch my dick. You know, I mean, that's just getting down to brass tacks here. That's what's going on, right? They stuck that shit in her, and now you can't stick your shit in her. So, I mean, well, you got to get the fuck out. I'd get out. You're young, dude. You're 19. What, are you going to marry her? What, are you in the military? People in the military get married when they're 19, you know? A woman done left. That's what you do. It just sounds like you sound like you need like a long time away from each other. The way that was read, dude, that sounded like a fucking 40-year-old guy wrote that, and you're 19. So that's kind of a good sign that maybe you should get the fuck out. Who knows? But I would not say anything mean. I would not, and I just, you know, you want to be able to see the person again and not get a glass to the head. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you're going for. So the art form is you just tell them how you're feeling. You know? I'm just not happy. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. I'm just not happy, and I'm finding myself less and less happy, and it's affecting my moods. Everything you just said. And I'm finding that I'm getting angry, and I don't want to be angry around you and create any misery in your life. So as much as this is going to hurt you, I'm walking out the door. You can take this relationship and shove it. That's it. Then walk out the door. You know? And you'll probably walk out that door and you'll be sad a little bit. And you walk a little more. And you start skipping, and then you're running down the street. Yeah! You know, it might be one of those breakups. Or it could be the one, oh, why did I do it? I don't fucking know. But you're 19. You know, you got your whole fucking life ahead of you. You don't need to be in this. This sounds like you're fucking married. I'd get out. All right, that's it. Okay, and that's the fucking podcast for this week. Go fuck yourselves. I will check in on you on Thursday. And that's it. I'll let you know how seeing old Cleo the next couple of days is, which is going to be fucking awesome. And it's also, you know what, I'm psyched that, you know, we got a cool family. And, you know, I think I'll come out to Phoenix a couple times a year. You know, do a run of shows like I'm doing here. Go to a game or something like that. I'll hang with the dog. It's kind of nice, you know. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday.